name is Bill Kerr. My grandfather, Robert S. Kerr Sr., and grandmother, Grace B. Kerr, were the principal owners of the property in the very beginning. Grandmother Grace and Granddaddy wanted a place that would allow for family gatherings. The whole concept was how to take full advantage of the view. My grandfather, Robert S. Kerr Sr., was born in 1896. My grandfather had his law license and worked principally for oil and gas leases. He was able to attract Dean McGee, considered probably the foremost geologist in the world, and ultimately became Kerr McGee. They ended up pioneering offshore drilling and were vastly successful in doing so. In 1942, he became governor of the state of Oklahoma. He had a deep love for the state of Oklahoma, and he had his sights on going into the Senate. He was successful. He went in, and there was a keen understanding that my grandfather was undisputably the most powerful person in the Senate at the same time that Kennedy was president. So Kennedy came to Oklahoma out of respect and admiration and understanding that great things can still be accomplished with his help. The house was a labor of significant love on the part of my grandmother in particular. She was working with the builder, Raymond Carter. She was able to translate her vision, and it allowed for the ultimate property to be built out in a very phenomenal way. It's 365 feet from east to west. It's a very, very long home. Building the house took 4.5, 5 years. The house was completed in '61. In the late '80s, early '90s, it became kind of a bed and breakfast, conference, and events center. It became more open to the public in that regard. Plus, getting married out on that deck is nothing short of spectacular. When you stand on the property and you look out, you see not only the Poteau River Valley, but you see the mountain ranges to the south, to the east, as well as to the west. The house had very unique features, such as the traceries that covered many of the windows, because you're heating and or cooling 13,000 square feet. And so there was an environmental reason for that, as well as a aesthetic reason. There was close to 4,500 tons of rock used in the retaining wall and the house itself. Back then, all of the stone was cut on 90-degree angles, and it was done on site. The entrance you would walk out into and see this expansive view to the great room, which was a combination of living, dining, etc. Off to the right was the formal living room, which is a very expansive, very large living area. And the far east side of the home, you have what we referred to as the ship's room. It was the grandkids' room. And it was a playroom as well as a bedroom for some of the boys and girls. And then you also have the 4 bedrooms in that wing. The idea was each of the rooms had access points to the patio, but also phenomenal view of the Poteau River Valley. Grandmother and Granddaddy's rooms were up on the 2nd floor. Take a look at just the phenomenal view from both of the bedrooms. And then in Granddaddy's instance, the bathroom has a pretty phenomenal view as well. There was never a time while the property was a bed and breakfast that it wasn't occupied. The average occupancy was around 65, 70%. My hope is that someone will come in and see the vision for the property, to do what is necessary to improve it, to make it more efficient, and that people can continue to enjoy the property for events such as weddings and or receptions, things that bring the community together in a meaningful way, that would really allow for the ongoing character to be realized for not only the community, but the state and surrounding states as well.